The late Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime business partner, never sugarcoated it when it comes to money. He says the first 100,000 is hard, but you gotta do it. He goes on to say, I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on 100,000 and everything explodes from that. In today's video, I am going to show you how your net worth skyrockets after the first $100,000, how you can get to that number, and how I, as an immigrant in the UK, plan to make that happen. This is something no one is talking about. Everyone is talking about how to survive, but I want to thrive, and I believe you want to thrive too. So stick with me. I will be showing you this mathematically on Excel documents. So in case you're wondering, you can never get there. How can I do it? I hope this video breaks down that mountain for you and you then begin to see the possibilities of the magic that you can make happen for yourself if you're truly intentional about being financially free. First, I will be stating a couple of assumptions. One, you can afford to put some money away monthly. Two, you will be investing this into S&P 500, and historically the market has returned average of 7% annually, and that's the number we will be factoring into our calculation. This, I should mention, is inflation adjusted. And I should also say this is a conservative assumption. In 2024, for example, my portfolio returned 40%, S&P 500 returned 23%, but of course I know this won't happen every year. That's why we're taking an average of 7%. S&P 500 is an ETF. And if you don't know what ETFs are, I'll keep it simple for you. This is a basket of many companies' individual stocks. Some ETFs have 500 company stocks in it, while some have over 1,000. I have a video you can watch on this, and I will link it here. I'm also taking an assumption that you wouldn't increase this amount monthly, and your sources of income wouldn't increase. We know this is very conservative. The more your earning capability grows, the more ability you have to increase your monthly investments. Okay, so now let's get into the Excel document. Okay, what you see now is I have two tabs. Let me mention that first. I have two tabs here. The first one here is before 100,000, and then you have after 100,000. But I will stay on before 100,000 first, And the assumptions that I mentioned earlier are also here. So let's stick to the first one, which is on annual returns. Like I mentioned before, the S&P 500 has returned historically 7 to 8% on an annual basis. And I have chosen 7% here, just to be on the safe side, be conservative, And then for the first case scenario, which is case one, I have taken an assumption that you have £5,000 saved somewhere that you're ready to put into the stock market. That's the first assumption under case one. And then on a monthly basis, you can commit to £550 into the stock market. So you can add to your investments every month. It will take you 9.6 years to get to 100,000. But if you take the sum of what you have put into the market, you should have approximately 68,226. But the impact of compounding, your 7% continues to compound on an annual basis. The impact of compounding makes this 100,000. So for your first case, it takes you approximately 10 years to get to your first 100,000. Let's go to case number two. Still 7%, and let's say you have 10,000 somewhere and it's been sitting in your bank account and you're like, you know what, I want to put this into the stock market because I've watched Debola's video. And then you put it into the stock market, into S&P 500, and then on a monthly basis, you can afford to put $850 every month into as an additional investment into the stock market. It will take you 6.5 years. You see, you're spending less years now, to get to your 100,000, and you would have on a total put together 76,000. However, the impact of compounding makes this 100,000. That's your future value. That's what you're working towards. So it would take you 6.5 years to get there. Case three, I don't have any large sum now, but I want to get into the stock market. Put in 850 on a monthly basis, at the end of 7.5 years, you would have contributed 76,000, but the impact of compounding would have taken this to 100,000. Are you clear? Okay. So now you have your first 100,000. And you say, my net worth skyrockets after 100,000. How? So I'm going to show you after your first 100,000, and I'm going to use, stick to case number 2. So let's say this is case number 2, which we just saw, 7% annual return. I have 10,000 to put into the market. My monthly investment is 850, and it took me 6.5 years, to get to 100,000. After your first 100,000, annual return, we still leave it at 7%. Now your initial investment, because that's what you have in the market now, is 100,000, because you now have 100,000 accumulated, and you still continue your 850. It will take you 4.9 years to get to 200,000. Compare this to the 6.5 years it took you to get to 100,000. And now you have 200,000. So let's say after your 200,000, the same 7%, now you have 200,000, your monthly investments, we're saying this is conservative. There is every possibility that after 2 years, you are able to put more into the stock market. But let's still stick with the 850. It will take you 3.6 years to get to 300,000. Basically, your total money in the market will be 237. Total contribution from you into the market is 237, but you have this compounded to 300,000, 3.6 years. So let's go through this up until after your 800K. You need to get to 1 million, right? Yeah. So this is your 800K here. I'll put this in another color so you identify it. This is your 800K, still 7%. Now you have 800K. You still put your 850, it would take you 1.4 years to get additional 100,000. The 100,000 becomes easier after the first year. Look at all the years, 6.5, the next 100,000, it takes 4.9, the next 100,000 takes 3.6 years, the next one takes 2.9. Basically, the period or the time it takes you to get 100,000 added to your portfolio shortens over time. When you have your 900,000 still at 7%, it takes you 1.3 years to turn this to 1 million. This is the power of compounding. This is the power of being in the market. The difference between your first 100K, which is what I have portrayed, the difference between, I'll put it in another color so you see, the difference, let's go purple, the difference between when you made your first 100,000 and when you made your last 100,000 to make £1 million is 398% difference. So when Charlie Munger says that your first 100 is the hardest, he was practically talking about the power of compounding, the power of being in the market. To start is the most difficult part. When you start and you stay consistent, the journey to earning that next 100 gets shorter. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, the question is, Debola, how do I get to the 100,000 mark? Because I cannot put, 850 aside on a monthly basis at this time. I will share with you 4 ways you can get to this mark. And this is what I am also doing. So trust me, we are all on this journey together. The first one, increase your earning capability. This is one of the fastest ways to accelerate your financial growth. Instead of just cutting expenses, focus on expanding your income streams. Negotiate a higher salary, develop high income skills, start a side hustle, invest in assets that generates passive income. The more you earn, the more financial freedom you gain. And this allows you to save more, to invest more, and to build wealth faster. I never stop asking myself, what more can I do to make money? How else can I create value? How else can I monetize it? that question would never let you settle. You have to figure out what you're good at because trust me, you have a natural advantage at something. You have to figure this out and find out how to leverage it. I'll give you an example. I love to speak, and here I am on YouTube. I love to coach and guide people, moving them from where they are to where they want to be. I'm good in finance. I have a degree and qualification in accounting, finance, and strategy. And I have a special relationship with numbers. I continue to leverage all this to grow my earnings. Find out what you're good at. How do you create value to others and then earn in return? Or find out high income skills you can develop and start to offer this so you get paid for it. For example, copywriting, social media marketing, graphic designing. And you say the best part of all this is that there are so many courses online that are free. So just get to it. The second one, living below your means. This is the foundation of financial stability and even wealth building. I know a number of people would say, my income is not enough. It cannot take care of my expenses. The real question is, have you checked if you're carrying the right level of expenses? It's not just about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. Avoid lifestyle inflation. This is where your expenses grow with growth in your income. Prioritize needs over wants and ensure that your expenses are always lower than your income. This creates room for saving, investing, and even seizing opportunities that can multiply your wealth over time. The third one, automate your finances. Yeah, don't leave this to your willpower. Savings and investment should come out of your income before expenses. If you're saving what is left, you are doing it wrong. Trust me. You have to set up automatic transfers for savings, investments, bill payments, and all those things so your money works for you without relying on your willpower. This ensures you save consistently, you invest consistently before anything else. The less you have to think about managing your money, the easier it becomes to stay on track and grow your wealth over time. And if you're thinking, how do I get more from what I am earning? I have tried to, look at my expenses. There is nothing to cut. I still don't know what I am doing wrong. My next video would show you some 9 things you may be spending on, which are a complete waste of your money. And I will see you in that video.